The receipt trembles in my hand as I scribble the words that will either save a stranger's life or destroy mine. They're going to kill you. Back exit. Now, I don't know the man at table 9. Don't know his name, his business, or why 2 men in the corner booth have been watching him like wolves circling wounded prey for the past 20 minutes. All I know is that I heard them. The taller one with the scar leaned across the table and said it plain. When he stands, we move. Victor wants it clean. My hands are shaking so hard the pen nearly slips. The dining room hums with soft jazz and the clink of expensive silverware, oblivious. I'm just the waitress. I'm supposed to smile, refill wine glasses, and keep my head down. I'm supposed to finish this shift, deposit my tips, and wake up at 4 a.m. to prep dough at the bakery before the loan payment comes due Friday. I'm not supposed to get involved, but I've already folded the warning into the black leather portfolio with his bill, and now I'm walking toward table 9 on legs that feel like they might give out. My heart is hammering so loud I'm sure he'll hear it. He doesn't look up immediately. He's alone, which struck me as strange the moment he sat down 2 hours ago. Men like him don't usually dine alone at La Fortuna. Men in charcoal suits that probably cost more than my student loans, with watches that catch the light like they're made of captured stars. Men who make the manager materialize out of thin air, fawning and obsequious. When his eyes finally lift to meet mine, the air seems to thin. They're dark. Not just brown, dark like the space between streetlights. Assessing and unreachable. His face is all sharp angles and shadow, jaw dusted with stubble like he shaved this morning and hasn't thought about it since. There's something coiled in the way he sits, loose but ready, like a blade resting in its sheath. "Everything all right, miss?" His voice is low, almost bored, but there's something underneath it. Awareness, maybe. Control. My throat closes. I manage to nod, sliding the portfolio across the white tablecloth toward him. My fingers brush the edge, and I pull back like I've touched fire. "Your check," I whisper. "Whenever you're ready." He doesn't open it. His gaze stays on me, and I feel it like a physical weight. Measured, cataloged, understood in ways I don't want to be. The room seems to narrow to just this table, just his eyes, just the frantic beating of my heart. "Thank you," he says, and reaches for the portfolio. I turn before he can open it, before I can see his reaction. My legs carry me toward the kitchen on autopilot, past the other tables, past the corner booth where the 2 men are still watching. The taller one's eyes track me, narrow and suspicious. I push through the kitchen doors and the heat hits me like a wall. The line cooks barely glance up. I lean against the stainless steel prep counter, pressing my palm flat against the cold surface, trying to steady my breathing. What did I just do? The smart thing would have been to pretend I didn't hear anything, mind my business, collect my tips, and go home to the spreadsheet waiting on my laptop. The one that shows exactly how many shifts I need to work before I can make the next loan payment. Before I can convince the landlord not to sell the building out from under us. But I heard them. I heard them planning to kill a man, and I couldn't just... The kitchen doors swing open. It's Marco, one of the line cooks, his face pale. "Maya, Bianchi wants you. Now." My stomach drops. Lorenzo Bianchi owns La Fortuna. I've worked here for 8 months and have spoken to him exactly twice. Once when he hired me, once when I accidentally spilled wine on a city councilman's wife. Both times, his smile didn't reach his eyes. I follow Marco through the kitchen, down the narrow hallway lined with dry storage, to Bianchi's office. The door is ajar. Inside, I can see Lorenzo behind his desk, his silver hair slicked back, his expression smooth and pleasant in a way that makes my skin crawl. He's not alone. The man from table 9 stands by the window, hands in his pockets, looking out at the alley below. He's taller than I realized, over 6 feet, broad-shouldered, perfectly still. When Lorenzo gestures for me to enter, the man doesn't turn around. "Miss Ellis," Lorenzo says, his accent thick and syrupy. "Please come in. Close the door." I step inside. The door clicks shut behind me. The sound feels final. "You served table 9 tonight, yes?" Lorenzo's smile is fixed in place. "Yes." My voice sounds steadier than I feel. "And you gave Mr. Marchetti his check?" "Marchetti. So that's his name." I did. I don't look at the man by the window. I can feel him there, a dark gravity pulling at the edge of my vision. With a note, Lorenzo continues, his tone still pleasant. A rather alarming note. Mr. Marchetti's men are already handling the disruption in my dining room. Discretion is expensive, Miss Ellis. My heart is in my throat now. You overheard a private conversation and decided to insert yourself into matters that don't concern you. Lorenzo leans back in his chair. Do you understand how that looks, Miss Ellis? How it reflects on my establishment? Before I can answer, the man by the window finally speaks. She saved my life. His voice cuts through the room like a blade through silk. Quiet, absolute. He turns, and for the first time, I see his face in full light. The sharp line of his jaw. The mouth that looks like it's forgotten how to smile. The eyes that seem to see straight through me. Cassian Marchetti. I still don't know who he is. Not really, but I know power when I see it. And I know danger. Mr. Marchetti, Lorenzo begins, his tone shifting to something deferential, almost nervous. I assure you this was... She stays. Cassian's gaze is on me now, and I can't look away. She's under my protection. The words land like stones in water, rippling outward. Of course, Lorenzo says quickly, too quickly, whatever you wish. I don't need protection, I hear myself say. The words come out sharper than I intend, edged with the exhaustion of a double shift, and the terror still coursing through my veins. I need to finish my shift and go home. Cassian's head tilts slightly, like I'm a puzzle he's just discovered. Your shift is over. I have tables. Not anymore. There's no room for argument in his tone. It's not a threat. It's simply fact, delivered with the weight of someone who's used to reality bending around his words. I want to argue. Want to tell him he doesn't get to decide when my shift is over, that I need those tips, that the loan payment is due, and the landlord is circling, and I can't afford to lose even one night's earnings. But the way Lorenzo is watching us, calculating, wary, tells me this conversation is already over. I'll have someone drive you home, Cassian says. I can take the bus. No. The word is soft, but it lands like an order. You can. He moves toward the door, toward me, and suddenly he's close enough that I can smell his cologne. Something dark and expensive, cedar and smoke. Close enough that I have to tilt my head back to keep eye contact. The men who were planning to kill me, his voice drops lower, meant only for me. They saw you give me that note, which means you marked yourself, whether you meant to or not. My breath catches. I know. Something flickers in his eyes. Not quite warmth, but not the flat coldness from before either. But it doesn't matter what you meant. It matters what they think you know. The implication sinks in slowly, like ice water down my spine. So when I say you're under my protection, he continues, his gaze holding mine, I'm not asking. You warned me. Now I keep you alive. That's how this works. I didn't ask for it. You didn't have to. He steps past me, opening the door. Two men in dark suits are waiting in the hallway, broad-shouldered, watchful, the kind of men who make you think of the word enforcers. Take her home, Cassian says. Make sure no one follows. Post someone outside her building. Wait, I start, but he's already walking away. Lorenzo scrambling to follow him, and the two men are looking at me with expressions that suggest arguing would be pointless. One of them, younger, with a scar through his eyebrow, gestures toward the back exit. This way, miss. I have to get my things. My bag. Already retrieved, the other one says. He holds up my worn canvas tote, the one with the broken zipper and the ink stains. We'll take the back way. Safer. Safer. The word feels surreal. 3 hours ago, my biggest concern was whether I'd have enough energy to prep tomorrow's sourdough after this shift. Now I'm being escorted out the back of La Fortuna by armed men, because I overheard a murder plot, because I slipped a warning onto a stranger's receipt, because Cassian Marchetti has decided I'm his problem. The alley smells like garbage and rain. A black car is waiting, engine running, windows tinted dark. The man with the scarred eyebrow opens the back door, and I climb in because what else am I supposed to do? The interior is leather and luxury, so far removed from the bus route I usually take that it feels like a different city entirely. The door closes. The locks engage with a soft click. Through the tinted window, I catch one last glimpse of La Fortuna's back entrance before we pull away. And somewhere in the carefully maintained composure I've been clinging to, something cracks. I warned a stranger. I saved his life. And now my life, my carefully balanced, constantly juggling, barely surviving life, has just been turned completely upside down. The men don't speak during the drive. I give them my address, a fourth-floor walk-up in a neighborhood that's emerging, according to real estate agents, and still sketchy, according to everyone who actually lives there. The bakery is 2 blocks away, a corner storefront with my mother's faded painted sign still visible under the newer vinyl lettering. When we pull up, the scarred man, he finally introduces himself as Luca, gets out first, scanning the street like he expects snipers. The other one, who never gives his name, walks me to the building's entrance. "We'll be outside," Luca says. "Don't leave the building tonight. Don't open the door for anyone except us." "For how long?" He exchanges a glance with his partner. "Until Mr. Marchetti says otherwise." They wait until I'm inside, until I've climbed all 4 flights and locked my apartment door behind me, before I hear the car pull away to park somewhere down the block. My apartment is exactly as I left it this morning, a disaster of unfolded laundry, bakery paperwork spread across the coffee table, the remains of a breakfast I didn't have time to finish. Everything normal, everything safe, except nothing feels safe anymore. I drop my bag on the couch and sink down beside it, my body finally catching up to the adrenaline crash. My hands are still shaking. I warned him. I close my eyes and see it again, that moment at table 9. The way his gaze lifted to mine, dark and assessing. The way my breath caught, my heart stumbled. The way something in my chest pulled tight at the quiet authority in his voice. "Everything all right, miss?" "No, nothing is all right." I grab my laptop from the coffee table and pull up the spreadsheet I've been nursing for months. The one that tracks every dollar I owe, every shift I work, every small payment chipped away at the mountain of debt left by the business partner who screwed us over. The loan payment is due in 4 days. I'm short by $200. I was counting on tonight's tips. My phone buzzes. Unknown number. I stare at it for a long moment before answering. "Miss Ellis." His voice is unmistakable, low, controlled, that undercurrent of command that doesn't need to be loud. "You're home safe. How did you get my number?" I make it my business to know things. A pause. "Are you hurt?" "No." I stand pacing to the window. Down below, I can see the black car parked under a streetlight. "I'm fine. I need to work tomorrow. I have the morning shift at the bakery and..." "The bakery is secure. I have men watching it." My stomach tightens. "You don't need to." "Yes," he interrupts, his tone leaving no room for argument. "I do. The men who plan to kill me work for Victor Dragic. He doesn't forgive failures, and he doesn't leave loose ends. You became a loose end the moment you warned me." Victor. The same name the scarred man whispered at La Fortuna. The name I tried to pretend I hadn't heard. I pressed my forehead against the cool glass. "I didn't know." "I know." His voice softens, just barely. "But that doesn't change what happens next." "Which is what?" "You stay under my protection until Victor is dealt with." "Dealt with," I repeat, tasting the euphemism. "You mean killed." He doesn't deny it. "Yes." The honesty is almost worse than a lie. I close my eyes, trying to steady my breathing, trying to think past the exhaustion and fear, and the strange, terrible awareness that even now, even angry and terrified, some part of me remembers the way his presence felt in that office, the way his voice wrapped around me like smoke. "I have a life," I say quietly. "I have a bakery to run, bills to pay, responsibilities. I can't just disappear because you've decided I'm your problem." "You won't disappear. You'll be protected while you live your life." "With armed men following me everywhere?" "Yes." "That's not living. That's being a prisoner." Silence stretches between us. When he speaks again, his voice is quieter, edged with something I can't quite name. "You saved my life, Maya. Whether you like it or not, that makes you mine to protect." I don't fail at protecting what's mine. The words send a shiver down my spine, not entirely from fear, I'm not yours, I say, but my voice wavers. We'll see. The line goes dead. I stand at the window long after the call ends, watching the black car below, watching the shadows shift in the streetlight. Somewhere in the city, Cassian Marchetti is reshaping my world to fit around his will, and I have no idea how to stop him. I don't sleep. At 3:30 a.m., I give up trying and get dressed. If I'm going to be terrified and exhausted, I might as well be productive. The bakery waits for no one, not mafia bosses, not murder plots, not existential crises. When I step out of my building at 4, Luca is waiting by a different car, this one dark gray, less conspicuous. Morning, he says, like this is completely normal. I'll drive you. I can walk, it's 2 blocks. Not anymore. His tone is gentle but immovable. Orders. I don't have the energy to argue. The drive takes 90 seconds. He parks directly in front of the bakery, scans the empty street, then walks me to the door. I'll be out here, he says. Inside, the bakery smells like my childhood. Flour and sugar and the ghost of my mother's perfume. Though she's been gone 3 years now. My Aunt Rosa won't arrive until 6, which gives me 2 hours to prep in peace. Except I'm not alone. I can feel Luca outside, a silent presence through the glass. And I can feel the weight of last night pressing down on my shoulders, making every familiar task feel strange and precarious. I measure flour, mix dough, shape loaves. My hands know these movements so well I could do them blind. But today every motion feels weighted with the knowledge that men with guns are watching my door. That somewhere in the city, a man named Victor Dragic might be deciding what to do about the waitress who ruined his plans. That Cassian Marchetti has decided I belong to him now. You marked yourself the moment you warned me. I punched down a batch of sourdough with more force than necessary. The bell over the door chimes at 6:15. I look up, expecting Rosa, but it's Cassian. He's dressed more casually than last night. Dark jeans, black Henley, leather jacket. But he carries the same aura of coiled control. He surveys the bakery with the same assessing gaze he gave La Fortuna, measuring exits and sightlines. We're not open yet, I say, my hands still covered in flour. I know. He approaches the counter slowly, hands in his pockets. I wanted to see where you spend your mornings. Why? Because you're under my protection. I need to understand your routines, your vulnerabilities, the places you're most exposed. I'm exposed needing bread? His mouth almost curves, not quite a smile, but close. You're exposed anywhere without proper security. This corner location, 2 entrances, large windows. It's a nightmare to defend. It's a bakery, not a fortress. It needs to be both now. I want to throw flour at him. Want to scream that he doesn't get to walk into my mother's bakery and talk about defense strategies and vulnerabilities like this is some kind of military operation. But he's not wrong. The thought makes my stomach churn. How long, I ask instead. How long until this is over? Until Victor is neutralized. He leans against the counter, his gaze steady on mine. A week, maybe 2. And then you go back to your life. It should be a relief. Instead, something in my chest twists, a feeling I don't want to examine too closely. Rosa arrives at 6:30, a whirlwind of dramatic surprise at finding a dangerously handsome man in our bakery. Cassian is polite, almost charming in a distant way, but he doesn't leave. He stays, nursing a coffee I didn't ask if he wanted, watching me work while Luca stands sentinel outside. It should feel suffocating. Instead, it feels like standing too close to a fire. Dangerous, overwhelming, and impossibly warm. When the first customers arrive at 7, Cassian finally stands. I'll have someone here at all times, he says quietly, close enough that I can smell that cedar and smoke scent again. You won't always see them, but they'll be watching. Lucky me, I mutter. His hand catches my wrist, not roughly, but firmly enough to stop my automatic retreat. His thumb rests against my pulse point, and I know he can feel the way my heart is racing. You don't like this, he says, his voice low enough that Rosa can't hear. I understand, but you will be safe, Maya. That's not negotiable. I should pull away, should tell him he doesn't get to touch me, doesn't get to stand this close. doesn't get to make my skin feel like it's catching fire, just from the warmth of his hand on my wrist. Instead, I meet his eyes and say, I'm not negotiating. I'm surviving. There's a difference. Something flashes in his gaze, respect maybe, or hunger. He releases my wrist and steps back. Your aunt mentioned you have a loan payment due Friday. My spine goes rigid. That's none of your business. Everything about you is my business now. He reaches into his jacket and pulls out an envelope, setting it on the counter between us. That should cover it. I don't touch it. I don't need your money. It's not charity. It's compensation for the tips you lost last night because of me. I lost them because I chose to warn you. And I'm choosing to make sure that choice doesn't cost you your mother's bakery. His tone brooks no argument. Take it, Maya, or I'll pay your landlord directly. The threat, because that's what it is, makes my blood boil. But when I look at the envelope, when I think about the spreadsheet and the looming deadline and the very real possibility of losing this place, pragmatism wars with pride. Pragmatism wins. Barely. I snatch the envelope off the counter. This doesn't make us even. No, he agrees, his gaze holding mine. It doesn't. He leaves without another word, the door chiming behind him. Through the window, I watch him exchange words with Luca before climbing into a different car, this one black, armor-plated, the kind that screams danger and power. Rosa appears at my elbow, eyes wide. Madonna, Maya, who was that? Trouble, I say. She looks at the envelope in my hand, then at my face, and her expression shifts to something between concern and knowing. The kind you want or the kind you fear? Both, I admit quietly, definitely both. The days blur together in a strange, surreal pattern. Morning, I bake. Cassian's men watch from their car. Afternoon, I handle invoices and supplier calls, while trying to ignore the woman browsing our day-old section, who's definitely armed. Evening, I work abbreviated shifts at La Fortuna. Lorenzo cut my hours. Whether out of fear or Cassian's orders, I don't know. And Luca drives me home. Night. I lie awake, thinking about dark eyes and controlled voices, and the way my pulse jumped when his thumb pressed against my wrist. I don't see Cassian himself for 3 days after the bakery visit, but I feel him everywhere, in the envelope that paid my loan, in the sudden absence of the corner boys who used to hassle customers, in the way my landlord suddenly stops threatening to sell the building. On the 4th day, everything changes. I'm closing the register at La Fortuna, a short evening shift, just enough to supplement the bakery income, when Lorenzo appears at my elbow. Miss Ellis, a moment? His office feels smaller than it did that first night. Or maybe I just know better now what kind of man sits behind that desk. I'm letting you go, he says without preamble. 2 weeks' notice, but honestly, you don't need to work them. My stomach drops. What? Why? You're a liability. He says it matter-of-factly, like he's describing the weather. Marchetti's interest in you has made you a target, and I can't afford that kind of attention in my restaurant. I need this job. No, you don't. He slides an envelope across the desk. Severance. Generous severance. Consider it a parting gift. I stare at the envelope, understanding dawning with sick certainty. He paid you to fire me. He suggested you'd be safer not working here. I agreed. Lorenzo's smile is oily. It's better this way, Miss Ellis. For everyone. I want to argue. Want to rage about needing the income. About not letting Cassian control my life. About my right to make my own decisions. But Lorenzo has already dismissed me, turning to his computer like I've ceased to exist. Outside, Luca is waiting. He takes one look at my face and doesn't ask questions, just opens the car door. The drive to my apartment is silent. When we pull up, I don't get out immediately. He had Lorenzo fire me, didn't he? I say quietly. Luca's hands tighten on the steering wheel. Boss was concerned about your safety. That's not an answer, he sighs. Yes, he arranged it. He also arranged the severance package and a consulting fee for Lorenzo's cooperation. A consulting fee. I laugh, but there's no humor in it. He bought me out of my own job. He's trying to protect you. By controlling me. I shove the car door open. Tell your boss I don't need a savior. I need my life back. I'm halfway to my building when I hear the other car door open, hear Luca's footsteps behind me. Maya, wait! The world explodes. Not literally, but close enough. A black van screeches to a stop at the curb, doors flying open, and suddenly there are men, 3 of them, moving with brutal efficiency. Luca shouts something, reaching for his weapon, but one of the men is already there, taking him down with a crack that makes my stomach lurch. I run. Not toward my building, they're between me and the entrance. I run toward the corner, toward the bodega that's always open, toward lights and people and safety. I don't make it. Hands grab me from behind, yanking me backward. I scream, drive my elbow back the way the self-defense video I watched once told me to. But he's too strong. His arm locks around my throat, cutting off sound, cutting off air. Victor sends his regards, he growls in my ear. The world starts to gray at the edges. I claw at his arm, my lungs burning, my vision tunneling. Somewhere distant, I hear more shouting, the crack of gunfire, but it's all fading, fading. The pressure releases. I collapse to the pavement, gasping, coughing, my throat on fire. Above me, someone is fighting. No, not someone. Cassian. He moves like a force of nature, precise and brutal and unstoppable. One man goes down hard, skull cracking against the van's bumper. Another tries to run and doesn't make it 3 steps before Cassian drags him back, delivering a blow that drops him instantly. The third man, the one who grabbed me, pulls a gun. Cassian is faster. The gun clatters to the ground. So does the man, clutching a shattered wrist and screaming. Cassian kicks the weapon away, then turns to me. His face is a mask of controlled fury, but his hands, those dangerous, deadly hands, are gentle when they cup my face, tilt my chin up so he can examine my throat. Maya, his voice is hoarse. Talk to me. Are you hurt? I try to speak, but my throat feels crushed, raw. I manage a nod, then a shake of my head. Hurt, but okay. Mostly okay. More cars arrive, Cassian's men, flooding the street, securing the area. Someone is checking on Luca, who's sitting up now, blood streaming from his nose but alive. Someone else is zip-tying the attackers, who are still conscious. And Cassian is still kneeling beside me on the filthy sidewalk, his thumb brushing my cheekbone like I'm made of glass. I've got you, he murmurs. You're safe now. I don't feel safe. I feel like I'm falling apart. Like the adrenaline holding me together is finally giving out. My hands won't stop shaking. My breath comes in short, sharp gasps that hurt my abused throat. Cassian makes a decision. He slides one arm under my knees, the other around my back, and lifts me like I weigh nothing. What are you? Taking you somewhere secure. His jaw is tight, eyes scanning the street with lethal focus. Somewhere Victor can't reach you. My apartment is compromised. He carries me to his car, the armored one, doors already open. You're coming with me, I should argue. Should insist on going home, on maintaining what little independence I have left. But Victor's men just tried to kill me on my own street. My throat aches with every breath, and Cassian's arms around me feel like the only solid thing in a world that won't stop tilting. So I let him put me in the car. Let him slide in beside me, his hand finding mine in the dark. Let him take me away from my life and into his world. Because for the first time, I understand what he's been trying to tell me. I'm not safe anywhere Victor can find me. And Cassian Marchetti doesn't know how to half-protect something he's claimed as his. His penthouse is all clean lines and expensive minimalism, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city, furniture that looks like art, everything in shades of gray and black and steel. It should feel cold. Instead, it feels like him. Controlled, powerful, quietly dangerous. A woman appears, older, stern-faced, introduced only as Marie. She brings ice for my throat, examines my injuries with practiced efficiency, and declares nothing permanently damaged before disappearing again. Cassian watches from across the room, hands shoved in his pockets, his usual control visibly fraying at the edges. You need to rest, he says finally. Marie prepared the guest room. I'm not tired. It's a lie. I'm exhausted. But I'm also wired. My body still thrumming with adrenaline and fear and the memory of hands around my throat. Maya, he's going to keep coming, isn't he? I stand, ignoring the way my legs shake. Victor, he's going to keep sending men until I'm dead, or you're dead, or both. Yes, Cassian doesn't sugarcoat it. That's why you're staying here, where I can protect you properly. For how long? Until he's eliminated. And how long will that take? His jaw tightens. As long as it takes. I laugh, sharp and bitter. So I just, what? Hide in your fortress while you wage your war? Put my life on hold indefinitely? If that's what it takes to keep you alive, yes. That's not a life, Cassian. That's a prison. It's breathing, he snaps, finally moving closer, some of that control cracking. It's surviving. It's not being strangled to death in the street, because you warned a stranger who didn't deserve your mercy. The words hit like a slap. We stare at each other, both breathing hard, the space between us electric and impossible. You think I don't know that, I whisper. You think I don't lie awake wondering if I should have just kept my head down, finished my shift, let you die without it being my problem? His expression shudders. Do you? Wish you'd let me die? No. The admission costs me. And I hate that I don't. I hate that I saved you and you saved me, and now we're tangled together in this bloody mess with no clear way out. I hate that you control my job, my schedule, my safety. I hate that men with guns know where I live. I hate that you're not as angry with me as you want to be, he finishes softly, dangerously. He's right. God, he's right. I hate that when he touches me, my body forgets to be afraid. I hate that his voice in the dark makes me feel safer than the locks on my door ever did. I hate that some broken part of me recognized something equally broken in him and whispered here, this one, save this one. I didn't ask for this, I say, but my voice cracks. I know. He closes the distance between us, slow and deliberate, giving me time to retreat. I don't. But neither of us gets to undo it now. You marked yourself saving me. I marked you as mine protecting you, and Victor knows it, which means this ends when he does. His hand lifts, hovers near my face, waiting for permission. I give it. Some reckless part of me that's too tired of fighting, too shaken from tonight, too aware of the heat coiling low in my belly whenever he's this close. His palm cups my jaw, thumb brushing my cheekbone with devastating gentleness. The contrast between this touch and the brutal efficiency with which he took apart those men on the street should terrify me. It doesn't. Tell me you understand, he murmurs, his eyes searching mine. Tell me you understand why I can't let you go back to your apartment, your shifts, your normal life. Not until this is over. I understand, I whisper. I just don't like it. You don't have to like it. His other hand finds my hip, and the touch sends sparks along my spine. You just have to stay alive long enough for me to fix this. And then what? Then you choose. His forehead drops to mine, and the intimacy of it, the gentleness, makes my breath catch. You choose if you want me in your life, or if you want me gone. You choose if this thing between us is worth the danger, the chaos, the blood on my hands. But you have to survive to make that choice, Maya. What if, my voice wavers, what if I don't want to wait? His grip on my hip tightens. Don't want to wait for what? To choose. I tilt my head back, meeting his dark eyes. What if I want to choose now? You're in shock, he says, but his voice has gone rough. You almost died tonight. You're not thinking clearly. I'm thinking more clearly than I have in days. My hand lifts, rests against his chest, feeling the thunder of his heart beneath expensive fabric. I'm thinking that I've spent 4 days hating you for controlling my life, and tonight you literally saved it. I'm thinking that every time you touch me, my body responds in ways my mind doesn't want to admit. I'm thinking, he kisses me, not gently, not asking permission. He kisses me like a man who's been holding back for days and just snapped, his mouth demanding and possessive and absolutely devastating. I should push him away. Should remind him about shock and clarity and not making decisions when I'm scared and shaking. Instead, I kiss him back. My hands slide up his chest, into his hair, pulling him closer. His arm wraps around my waist, hauling me against him until there's no space left between us. The kiss turns hungry, desperate. all the tension of the past 4 days igniting into something fierce and consuming. When he lifts me, my legs wrap around his waist on instinct. He carries me backward, toward the couch, the bedroom, I don't care. His mouth never leaving mine, his hands gripping my thighs hard enough to leave marks. We don't make it to the bedroom. My back hits the wall beside the window, and Cassian's body cages mine, his hips pinning me in place. His mouth trails fire down my neck, teeth grazing the skin above my collar, and I can't breathe, can't think, can only feel the heat pooling low in my belly, and the way my body arches into his touch. "Tell me to stop," he growls against my throat. "Tell me you don't want this." I can't. My head tips back, giving him access, giving him everything. I can't tell you that. His hands slide under my shirt, palms hot against my ribs, and I gasp at the contact. This is insane. This is reckless. This is the opposite of the smart, controlled life I've tried so hard to build. But when his mouth finds mine again, when his hand tangles in my hair and tilts my head exactly where he wants it, smart and controlled feel very far away. What I feel instead is wanted, claimed, set on fire by a man who kills with the same hands that are now touching me like I'm something precious and breakable all at once. Bedroom, I manage against his mouth. Cassian. He doesn't need to be told twice. The trip down the hall is a blur of kisses and whispered words, and my shirt ending up on the floor. By the time we reach his room, all dark colors and masculine simplicity, my hands are fumbling with his belt, and his mouth is doing things to my neck that make my legs weak. We fall onto the bed together, a tangle of limbs and heat and desperate need. His weight settles over me, solid and commanding, and I've never felt more alive than I do right now, with this dangerous man treating me like I'm the only thing in his world that matters. "Last chance," he murmurs, his forehead pressed to mine, his body thrumming with restraint. "Tell me no, Maya, and I'll stop." "Don't stop." I pull him down, seal the words with a kiss. "Don't you dare stop." So he doesn't. What happens next is a blur of sensation, his hands learning my body, my fingers mapping the scars on his back. Our clothes disappearing piece by piece until there's nothing between us but skin and heat and the pounding of our hearts. When he finally moves inside me, when our bodies align in the most intimate way possible, I understand what I've been trying to deny for days. This isn't just chemistry, isn't just adrenaline or fear or the aftermath of violence. This is inevitability. His mouth finds mine as we move together, and the kiss tastes like surrender. His, mine, ours. Every touch is a claim, every gasp a confession, every moment an acknowledgement of the truth we've both been running from. I'm his, he's mine, and there's no going back. When we finally collapse together, sweat slicked and breathing hard, his arms wrap around me like he's afraid I'll disappear. I press my face against his chest, feeling his heart gradually slow, and wonder how I went from slipping a warning on a receipt to lying naked in a Mafia boss's bed in less than a week. No regrets? His voice is quiet, vulnerable in a way I haven't heard before. "Not yet," I admit. "Ask me again in the morning." His chest rumbles with almost laughter. Fair enough. We lie there in the dark, tangled together, while the city glitters outside his windows. Somewhere out there, Victor is planning his next move. Somewhere closer, Luca and the others are standing guard. But here, right now, it's just us. Two people who chose each other in the worst possible circumstances, and are trying to figure out what that means. Eventually, exhaustion wins. I drift off with his hand in my hair, his breath warm against my temple, and his voice murmuring something that sounds like a promise I'm too tired to understand. When I wake, everything will be complicated again. The danger will still be real, the stakes will still be impossible, and I'll still have to figure out how to reconcile the woman who runs a bakery with the woman who just gave herself to a killer. But for now, I let myself have this. Warmth and safety, and the steady beat of his heart beneath my palm. For now, that's enough. Morning comes with pale light filtering through floor-to-ceiling windows and the smell of coffee. I wake alone in Cassian's bed, wrapped in sheets that smell like him, cedar and smoke and something darker. My clothes from last night are folded on a chair, my phone plugged in and charging on the nightstand. The consideration in that small gesture makes my chest ache. I find him in the kitchen, or what passes for a kitchen in this sleek, modern space. He's dressed in dark slacks and a white shirt, sleeves rolled to his elbows, hair still damp from a shower. He looks every inch the powerful man he is, except for the way his expression softens when he sees me. "Coffee?" he asks, already pouring a cup. "Please." I accept it, grateful for something to do with my hands. "Did you sleep?" "Some." He leans against the counter, watching me with that assessing gaze I'm learning means he's trying to read my mood. "How do you feel?" "Honestly, sore in the best way. Scared about what last night means. Worried about the bakery and Rosa and the life I left behind when he brought me here. Alive, I say instead. Which is better than the alternative." His mouth curves slightly. Low bar. Recent events have adjusted my standards. We drink our coffee in silence for a moment, but it's not uncomfortable. It's the quiet of two people trying to figure out what comes next. "I need to check on the bakery," I say finally. "Rosa will be worried. I called her this morning, told her you were safe and would be taking a few days off." At my sharp look, he adds, "I didn't tell her where you are or why, just that you needed time after last night's attack." She must be panicking. She was, until I assured her the bakery would be protected and she'd be compensated for any lost business due to your absence. He sets down his cup. "I also arranged for additional security at her home." Of course he did, because Cassian doesn't do anything halfway. "Thank you," I say quietly, "for protecting her, for—" I gesture vaguely between us, at the apartment, at everything. "All of this. Don't thank me, Maya. This is my fault." "No." I set down my own cup, moving closer. "Victor is Victor's fault. You're just trying to keep us all alive while dealing with him. By controlling your life. By protecting it." I place my hand over his where it rests on the counter. I won't pretend I like having guards and restrictions, but I'm not naive enough to think I could have fought off those men alone last night. His hand turns under mine, fingers intertwining. "You shouldn't have to fight them at all. You should be safe in your apartment, walking to the bakery at 4 a.m. without looking over your shoulder, living your life without armed guards." "Should be and reality are different things." I squeeze his hand. "So what's the plan? How do we end this?" His expression hardens. "I end Victor, permanently." "When?" "Soon." My people are tracking his movements, finding his vulnerabilities. He's powerful, but he's not invincible. His jaw tightens. "And he made a mistake going after you. That's personal now." The possessiveness in his voice should probably concern me. Instead, it sends heat curling through my veins. "What do you need from me?" I ask. "Stay here. Stay safe. Let me handle Victor without worrying about whether you're exposed." His free hand cups my face, thumb brushing my cheekbone. "And when it's over, when you're truly safe again, decide if this is something you want to continue." This being what? You protecting me? Me wanting you. His gaze is intense, honest. Me wanting to be part of your life in a way that isn't just about danger and protection. Me wanting mornings like this, with coffee and conversation and you in my bed. My breath catches. That's a lot of wanting. I told you, I don't do halfway. He leans in, forehead touching mine. "But I need you to know, once Victor is gone, you're free to choose. Walk away if that's what you need. Go back to your life without me in it. I won't stop you." "And if I don't want to walk away?" "Then we figure out what this looks like when bullets aren't involved." His mouth curves slightly. Though I can't promise my life will ever be completely safe or normal. "Good," I say, surprising both of us. Because mine wasn't exactly fairy tales and roses before you showed up. At least with you, the danger is honest. He kisses me then, softer than last night, but no less meaningful. A promise and a question and a hope all wrapped into one. When he pulls back, his eyes are searching mine. "Stay, Maya. Just a few more days. Let me finish this." "Okay," I agree. Because what else can I say? But I want daily updates on the bakery and Rosa, and I want to work remotely. Handle invoices, talk to suppliers, keep things running even if I can't be there physically. Done. He straightens, slipping back into the controlled, commanding version of himself. I'll have everything you need set up in the office down the hall. And Maya? Yes? Last night, he pauses, something vulnerable flickering across his face. I need you to know it wasn't just adrenaline or proximity for me. I've wanted you since that first moment in La Fortuna, when you looked at me like I was just a man, not a monster. My throat tightens. You're both, Cassian. And somehow, that doesn't scare me as much as it should. Maybe you're a little dangerous too, he says, with a hint of a smile. Maybe I am. I return the smile, small and real. After all, I did choose to save you. Best decision you ever made, he murmurs, pulling me close again. And despite everything, despite the danger and the chaos and the impossible situation we're in, I think he might be right. The next 3 days exist in a strange bubble. Cassian leaves each morning for meetings I don't ask about, returning with tension in his shoulders that gradually eases as the night progresses. I work remotely, handling bakery business via phone and video calls, reassuring Rosa that I'm fine, that this is temporary, that we'll get through it. The bakery is thriving despite my absence. Cassian's protection extends to making sure customers feel safe, that suppliers deliver on time, that nothing disrupts the business. It should feel like interference. Instead, it feels like partnership, like he's protecting not just me, but the things I love. At night, we talk. He tells me about his brother, about the woman who betrayed him, about the choices that led him into this life. I tell him about my mother, about the business partner who stole from us, about the fear that drives me to control every dollar and decision. We're both broken in complementary ways, both scarred by trust misplaced, both fighting to protect what little we have left. And between the conversations and the planning and the waiting, there's the physical connection, urgent and consuming. A reminder that we're both still alive, still here, still choosing each other despite the odds. On the 4th morning, Cassian comes home early. I know immediately something has changed. He moves differently, purposeful, energized. That coiled control now focused on a specific target. It's happening tonight, he says without preamble. We found Victor's location. He's moving shipments through an abandoned warehouse on the east side. No witnesses, limited security, away from civilian areas. My stomach clenches. You're going after him. I'm ending this. He crosses to me, hands framing my face. By tomorrow morning, you'll be free. Truly free. No more guards, no more threats, no more hiding. And what about you? The question comes out smaller than I intend. What if something happens to you? It won't, said with absolute confidence, but I can see the calculation behind his eyes. He's not invincible. He knows the risks. Cassian, I need you to stay here tonight. Don't leave. Don't answer the door for anyone except Marie or Luca. By morning, either this is over or... He doesn't finish that sentence. Or you're not coming back, I finish for him. That won't happen. You can't promise that. Watch me. He kisses me, fierce and possessive. I survived a planned assassination because you warned me. I survived years in this life because I don't take stupid risks. I'll survive tonight because I have something worth coming home to. The words wrap around my heart and squeeze. Come back to me, I whisper against his mouth. Promise me you'll come back. I promise. One more kiss, then he's moving toward the door, his men waiting, weapons being checked. I watch from the window as the convoy pulls away, my hand pressed against the glass like I can hold him here through sheer will. And then I wait. The hours crawl by with agonizing slowness. I try to work, review invoices, plan next week's menu, anything to keep my mind occupied. But every sound makes me jump. Every notification on my phone sends my heart racing. Marie brings dinner. I can't eat. 10 o'clock becomes 11, then midnight. Still nothing. At 1 a.m., I'm pacing the living room when my phone finally rings. Unknown number. My hand shakes as I answer. Hello? It's Luca. His voice is tight. We're coming in. Boss is alive, but he's hurt. We need to bring him upstairs. My heart stops. How bad? Bad enough. Marie's called our doctor. They'll be here in 10. The line goes dead. I'm at the elevator when it opens 8 minutes later. Cassian is on his feet, barely. supported by Luca on one side and another guard on the other. Blood stains his shirt. His face is pale, but his eyes are alert. "Maya," he starts. "Don't." I slip under his other arm, helping to half carry him toward the bedroom. "Don't you dare apologize or explain or do anything except let me help you." We get him to the bed. Marie arrives with the doctor, a severe woman who takes one look at Cassian and starts barking orders. I'm pushed aside, relegated to watching as they cut away his shirt, reveal the bullet wound in his shoulder, the knife wound along his ribs. It takes 2 hours to patch him up. 2 hours of pacing and praying to gods I'm not sure I believe in and making bargains with fate. When the doctor finally emerges, she looks exhausted. He'll live. The shoulder wound is clean, missed major arteries. The ribs will take time to heal, but no permanent damage. He needs rest, antibiotics, and someone to make sure he doesn't do anything stupid. That last one might be impossible, I say. And she actually smiles. Probably, but try anyway. She packs up her supplies. He can have visitors in a few minutes. Don't let him overdo it. I slip into the bedroom as soon as she leaves. Cassian is propped against pillows, bare-chested except for the bandages, looking exhausted but alive. "Hey," he says softly. "Hey yourself." I sink into the chair beside the bed, suddenly too shaky to stand. "You promised you'd come back." I kept my promise. Barely. But I did. He reaches for my hand, and I give it to him, feeling the warmth of his palm against mine. "And it's over, Maya. Victor is dead. His organization is scattered. You're safe." The words should bring relief. Instead, tears spill down my cheeks. Delayed reaction, terror finally finding its release. I thought, my voice breaks. When Luca called, I thought, I know. He tugs me closer until I'm sitting on the edge of the bed, his uninjured arm pulling me against his chest. "I know. I'm sorry. Don't apologize for surviving." I press my face against his shoulder, careful of the bandages, breathing him in. "Just don't do that to me again." "Can't promise that." His hand strokes through my hair. "But I can promise I'll always fight like hell to come home to you." We stay like that for a long time, me curled against him holding me like I'm the anchor keeping him tethered. Eventually, exhaustion wins. His breathing evens out, sleep claiming him despite obvious pain. I don't leave, can't leave. I carefully arrange myself beside him, my head on his chest, listening to his heartbeat, steady and strong and alive. Tomorrow we'll figure out what happens next. Tomorrow, I'll go back to my apartment, my bakery, my life. But tonight, I stay exactly where I am, with the man who promised to keep me safe and almost died keeping that promise. Tomorrow can wait. Morning comes with golden sunlight and the sound of my phone ringing. Rosa. Calling for the 5th time in an hour, probably. I carefully extract myself from Cassian's side. He's still asleep, finally, the lines of pain smooth from his face, and slip into the hallway. "Rosa, I'm fine," I answer before she can speak. "Fine? Fine." Her voice reaches levels only Italian aunts can achieve. "You disappear for days. Strange men tell me you're safe, and you think I don't worry? Madonna, Maya, what is happening? It's complicated. Uncomplicate it. Now. So I do." Not everything. She doesn't need to know about the kisses or the nights or the way my heart stuttered when Cassian came home bleeding. But I tell her about the warning, about Victor, about Cassian's protection, about how it's finally over. "And you trust this man?" she asks when I finish. "This Marchetti?" I do. The answer comes easier than expected. He's dangerous, Rosa. He's ruthless and controlling, and his world is nothing like ours. But he kept me alive when men were trying to kill me, and he protected you and the bakery without asking for anything in return. Silence. Then, carefully. "You care for him?" "Yes." No point in denying it. "And when will I meet this man who has captured my niece's heart?" The question makes me smile. "Soon, when he's not recovering from nearly dying to keep me safe." More silence, then a heavy sigh. "Bring him to dinner, Sunday. I will make lasagna, and we will see if this dangerous man has manners." "Rosa!" "Sunday, Maya. Don't argue with your aunt." She hangs up before I can protest. I'm still staring at my phone when arms wrap around me from behind. Cassian, awake and moving despite doctor's orders, his chin resting on my shoulder. Did your aunt just demand I come to dinner? His voice is amused. How much did you hear? Enough to know I'm being evaluated over lasagna. He turns me in his arms, wincing slightly at the movement. Should I be worried? Terrified, I say, but I'm smiling. Rosa doesn't approve of men who can't handle 3 servings and strong opinions. I think I can manage. He kisses my forehead, gentle and domestic, and so different from the man who killed Victor last night. Though I should probably wear a shirt that hides the bullet wound. Probably wise. We stand there in his hallway, wrapped in morning light and the strange peace of survival. Outside, the city is waking up. Inside, something new is taking shape, fragile and dangerous and impossibly precious. What happens now, I ask quietly. Now that the threat is gone and I can go back to my life. That depends. His hand cups my face, tilting my chin up. Do you want to go back to your life as it was? Or do you want to figure out what it looks like with me in it? What would that even look like? Honestly, I don't know. His thumb traces my lower lip. But I know I want mornings with you, and dinners with your terrifying aunt. And nights where I come home to you instead of empty rooms. Even though my life is bakery hours and loan payments and nothing like your world. Especially because of that. His eyes are serious, honest. You're the only real thing in my life, Maya. The only thing that isn't about power or territory or blood. I don't want to lose that. You almost died last night. And I came back. I'll always come back. He leans in, forehead touching mine. The question is, can you live with loving someone whose job involves danger? Someone who might come home bleeding more often than you'd like? I slipped a warning on a receipt and upended my entire life, I remind him. So apparently, I don't always make the safest choices. His laugh is low and warm. Is that a yes? It's a, let's figure it out together. I rise on my toes, closing the last distance between us. It's a come to Sunday dinner and charm my aunt. It's a, I choose you, Cassian Marchetti, danger and all. Then I choose you back. He kisses me, soft and sure. Bakery hours and loan payments and all. We stand there in the morning light, 2 broken people who found each other in the worst possible way and somehow made it work. His world will always be dangerous. Mine will always be grounded in flour and sugar and fighting to keep my mother's legacy alive. But together we might just be invincible. I should get back to the bakery, I say eventually. Rosa's been handling everything alone for too long. I'll drive you. At my look, he adds, I'm not letting you take the bus when I own a fleet of cars. Compromises, I mutter. We're going to have to learn about compromises. I'm open to negotiation. His smile is devastating, but not about your safety. That's non-negotiable. Fine, you can drive me, but I'm making the playlist. Deal. An hour later, we pull up in front of the bakery in a sleek car that's definitely going to raise questions in the neighborhood. Cassian gets out despite his injuries, despite my protests, and walks me to the door. Through the window, I can see Rosa setting up for the morning rush. She spots us, and her eyes go wide. Ready, I ask Cassian, to meet the woman who's about to judge whether I'm worthy of her niece? He straightens despite the pain it obviously causes. Absolutely. I take his hand, this dangerous man, this killer, this person who chose to protect me when he could have walked away, and lead him into my world. Rosa takes one look at us, at our joined hands, at the barely concealed bandages under his shirt, at the way he looks at me like I'm the only thing that matters, and her expression softens. So, she says in heavily accented English, you are the one. Yes, ma'am, Cassian replies. I am. She studies him for a long moment, then nods. Sunday, 7 o'clock. Don't be late. I wouldn't dream of it. She turns back to her work, but I catch the small smile on her face. Approval, Rosa style. Cassian squeezes my hand. I should go. Let you work. Call me later. Always. He kisses me, quick and possessive, not caring that Rosa is definitely watching. And Maya, thank you. For what? For the warning, for choosing me, for giving me a reason to come home last night. His eyes are dark and sincere. For everything. He leaves before I can respond, striding back to his car despite the injuries, despite the pain. I watch him go, my heart full of something I'm not quite ready to name. You love him, Rosa observes, coming to stand beside me. Is it that obvious? To anyone with eyes, she pats my shoulder. He's dangerous, yes, but he looks at you like you're his salvation. That kind of man will burn the world for you, Bella. I know. I turn back to the bakery, to the ovens and the flour and the life I fought so hard to protect. That's what scares me. Love should be a little scary. Rosa heads toward the kitchen. Now come. The bread won't bake itself, and we have work to do. I follow her into the familiar warmth, into the smell of sugar and yeast and home. Outside, the city moves on, dangerous and beautiful and filled with possibility. I slipped a warning onto a stranger's receipt, and it changed everything, changed me. I was his captive. I became his obsession. Now I'm his equal, his partner, his choice. And this bloody, beautiful world we're building together, it's finally, completely mine.